like I really don't belong. I can't explain it. When I close my eyes, I see a strange reality. Am I dreaming? Or on the edge of remembering? You wake up feeling like you really don't belong. You can't explain it, that when you close your eyes you see familiarity. Are you dreaming? Or on the edge of remembering?
Okay, darlings, we're back. So, this is yesterday's work. I had to peel all of the embellishments off because they would not stick. So I'm going to try a smaller version a little differently. We're going to leave this to dry, shave, and iron, or iron and shave. So I can gift it over the weekend, or actually I'd like to get rid of it tomorrow. So because this did not stick when it was up against the plastic, which blew my mind, like blew my mind, we're going to try laying down a little bit of this first. And we're going to lay that stuff on top and then do the usual layering. We're going to get much finer than that. So when I washed that purse, it bled like mad. Matter of fact, I noticed at the end of the night, I had looked like I had a rash. So it definitely will not be purchased again. It's just crap. Fortunately, I know some much more reliable sources. Just a little more. That's why I'm not reading it. Okay. I'm hoping for the best. We'll put folded there, so let's move it around. Hmm. I'm gonna throw a little fire in there, since this red is already quite warm. Oopsie. Relax. Seem to have gotten into a knot here. Okay, now we can actually cover it. I'm going to say this is the worst wool I've ever worked with. Texture-wise, felting-wise. So you should know that I bought it on Temu. And the only thing really said about it was wool. And it was red. And I needed red wool. So I went for it. Now, I have found several good sellers on Etsy. They have their own farms. They shear their own sheep or alpacas. They make and dye their yarns. And there you go. that looks pretty. And then we should start to see the migration forward. Okay. Okay. Time to let it down. Here's some tea. Okay, so making a smaller wallet this time. Oh, let's see. Put this one to my. Actually, it's garbage. I don't have to let it dry at all. But we do need to get the other piece of plastic for this. Oh, let's bring the whole thing over. Yeah, very wet. Those corners over. Stay in place. to. And how this ended up being such a mess. This is why we don't share art supplies. Well, there are exceptions. Okay. Mhm. can't use that. It's too yellow. Oh, nips. step in. Come, fold over and become one with the fabric. Okay, let's get some of this excess water up. Did a good job. I'm not sure if this is migrating or not. No, might not find out till the end. Well, this certainly soaked up a lot. I'm surprised. Did a good job. I hope it's not too early for this. dye. Lots of red dye. A little bit drier. There's the other side. He likes the rough stuff. stray hair. All right, we are seeing shrinkage. Yay! That means it's not long before we cut it open and take out the resist. Really wet. Now, if the viscose and silk did not work this time, I have no choice but to believe it's the wool itself, which should not even be physically possible, but this red wool has been acting a little weird since the beginning. No, it has knit, so I know it is definitely real wool. I just don't know what kind. And just a little bit of water. This will definitely work out more of the red dye. I already stained the other longer mat with red. Let's see it coming in. It's definitely loose in there now. Well, I guess this is it. Oh my God. And that wasn't supposed to happen. Oh, but wait a second. Yes, it is. To a point. Like right there. We have. Okay. Yeah, the stuff's doing what it's supposed to do. So let's do what we're supposed to do. Do not be doing anything weird. I don't want to have to use the needle on you. I might end up doing some needle felting on this anyway, but I'll avoid it. Tea time. Looks like it too rough. This is threatening to come up. Does not have enough wool on it. That worked better. Oh. This is going to be the inside. Like that. So we will get it to work. Even if I have to remove some of this, it will still be good. But let's try and make it stick anyway. Well, may or may not work. Worst comes to worst, I pull off that. But if it works, very soon. Yeah, don't do that with your bare hands. It'll come right up. Hello, hello, hello. What a wonderful world. Hello. I didn't make that up. That's from a very funny movie called Crazy People with Dudley Moore and Darrell Hammond. Might have been Dudley's last movie because his brain was starting to melt by then. Wherever the wind blows, Doc. Never ask for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. California, Arizona. Not right now, Texas. They've already burned everything. And now they're flooding. Let's just imagine them being put out. I don't want to know who's next. So how's your jelly back today? We're getting a lot more texture here, but that doesn't mean it's going to stick. I might find myself needle felting some of it in later. Still jelly. Wow. Are you weak as well? You're not having any other kinds of weird symptoms like shortness of breath or anything, right? else is here? While you're here, remember to give me a thumbs up. Even though right now we're doing boring stuff. I am more. I am moaning more. So what are you doing? Are you using ice? Did you take ibuprofen? Which, if you're not overdosing on that, it's a really good anti-inflammatory. You don't want to end up in the ER because you end up with back spasms and sore shit. Don't. No. You overdid it already. You were stretching already, maybe improperly, which turned you to jelly. And now you're just going to keep making it worse if you keep stretching. What you have to do is locate the sorest spots on your back. Usually when you've been in the garden, it's going to be between your shoulder blades and or your lower back, right? And your ass. Get a washcloth, wet it, wring it out, and put it in a plastic bag and freeze it flat. You use that on those spots. By the time it thaws, it'll be your limit for how long you're supposed to keep ice pack. 15 minutes. Then put it back in the fridge, no freezer. Don't stretch until your back is no longer jelly. Jelly usually means you've already overstretched the muscle and it can't retract the way it should. So don't add insult to injury, honey. And I had to do with Glenn and his constant accidents and overdone and blah, blah, blah. 20 years of taking care of that man with all of this shit. So it's not like I'm talking without experience, not even counting my own issues. But I would start there, take an ibuprofen to help reduce inflammation. If you don't have any ibuprofen, then your Tylenol with lots of water. Tylenol is safe as long as you take lots of water with it. When you put an ice pack over the trigger points, it'll release the pain. I know you don't remember this from 18, almost 19 years ago, but I used to have a book, which I still have, on my nightstand for the shows. Trigger Point Therapy Workshop, or workbook rather. One of the best self-help manuals I've ever seen. Shows you where all your trigger spots are so you know where to put the pressure, because usually what we're experiencing is referred pain. So like you can have a nerve pain that goes up your leg and into your hip and cripple you, but it turns out the actual start is around the bone of your shin on one side. You'll find one, oh my God, that hurts to touch. That's where you put the ice. When you do that, you cool the whole nerve down, but you're going with what's actually been aggravated. So the body is surprising, but it also is surprisingly resilient if you take care of it. I saw the heart doctor yesterday. I am not so happy. But I do have to make a dietary change. It's not major, but it's like because my body makes so much cholesterol, it doesn't seem to matter what my diet looks like because my body just keeps producing more cholesterol. Nevertheless, all heart doctors are going to tell you no cheese, no dairy, basically. No fat, no butter. Well, I have some very expensive butter in the refrigerator and I am not throwing it away. I'm not paranoid about it. It happens to be very high in both omegas 3 and 6, which is exactly what you want for your cholesterol. But no doctor is going to say, oh, go ahead and eat this butter, but not that one, because remember how stupid people are. Well, if I can have that one, why can't I have this one? So I am going to cooperate with this guy. I really, really like this dude. He's got a double education. I surprised him with asking him about him and his what makes him the happiest in his job. What gives him the most satisfaction, actually, is what I asked. Because when someone's really into something, they do better. They're better at their jobs. They're happier in general. And he wasn't expecting that question, of course. A lot of people aren't ask real questions. But after I got the first one, are you a surgeon, out of the way, the next was, what do you like best about this job? Oh, this is definitely going to have to be tatted together. How did I manage that? I guess I didn't wrap enough around. That's what I did wrong this time. So this is next going into the kitchen in the sink in very hot water. But for the moment, okay, open up. We're just going to keep it damp. I've been on an hour and a half already. Actually, for an hour and a half, I got pretty far with this, even though it's not coming out the way it needs to. You've been saying that a lot lately. I can't help it, but every single time you do it, I think of the Wicked Witch of the West. What a world, dissolving from water. Well, I ordered my pad today, but I'm waiting to actually have it in my hand to order the case for it. And because I want to get a nice bumper case, because I have a tendency to work in bed and fall asleep while I'm working, and it slides off the bed. I'm not letting a $500 pad crash. So I'm going to get an extra glass cover for it and, you know, protective screen. I have one on my phone. Ah, is it? Well, it is memorable, is it not? I like it better than "There's no place like home. There's no place like home." I don't know, most of the people I know did not have good homes. And almost everyone I know couldn't wait to grow up faster to get out of their homes, even when they were good homes. It's in our nature to spread those wings and fly. Or if you're more like a marine mammal, it's more like, grab a fish and dive. Okay, this can stay over there for now. We are done with this. I am not sure. We do have a bunch I guess I'll make some more bookmarkers. Really am unhappy with this wool. I don't want to use it for a nice project again. It'll just make me unhappier. This is already soaking wet, so why not? Okay. Oh, that's the big one. Like that. All right, we're just gonna make kind of a hodgepodge. I love so many movies that I can quote from. Like Young Frankenstein. I love that movie. Young Frankenstein. After the monster fuses his brain, or gets part of his brain from the Frankenstein doctor, Gene Wilder, Dr. Frankenstein, he stops everybody from hurting him and says, this poor soul or whatever, he said, he gave me a calmer temperament and a somewhat more sophisticated way of expressing myself. He went from R to a somewhat more sophisticated way of expressing myself. And the other day, I was talking to somebody and I realized one of my favorite things is, well, I love Granny Clampett. And I realized that I'm basically Granny Clampett with a somewhat more sophisticated way of expressing myself. We're all gonna die. Which movie is that from? It sounds like it could be a dozen of them. Oh, I love so many comedies. But some are not, they're more like visual and they're not as quotable, like 1941, which we just watched. Hilarious movie, comic genius in every corner. But aside from I Gotta Dance or Stretch, I hate eggs. I hate eggs. Now, where was that from? I know you've said it many a time, but I don't know where it's from. Other than He Said, She Said, which is another version of a bunch of other movies. Some of them just don't stand well on their own. You need them in context. It's like the right moment when you say one of those little lines is that's when the comedy is double delicious. I repeat lines to player until one of them say their line back to you. Is there a purpose to that? Like you just repeat it over and over until they say it? And they want to kill you? Take my butt look fat in these jeans. Of course, you got to say that the right way. Now that's one worth reciting back to you. I can see them landing and saying that in the game. That's funny. Well, that's because you're such a good player. I mean, you're like, what's your position now? You were at 10 for a while, then you moved up, right? But consistently that high a level in that game is pretty damn good. So, yeah. Oh, I bet. They always go after one of the best players, right? So yeah, makes sense. They get you, that's a bigger feather in their cap than just killing anybody. I'm glad I don't play those kinds of games. I don't need the nervous anticipation of a bullet in my head or back. I like my builder games. Now, I am gonna not be happy. Well, I'll be happy at first, then I'm gonna be pissed. SimCity will work really well on my new pad. My new pad has the memory necessary to run a huge program like that. When you have a bigger city, the bigger the city, the more memory it takes, more activities going on, etc. So the Kindle completely cannot keep up with any game once it gets complex. And matter of fact, the game that I picked up again, just because I didn't want to give EA any of my money, that is starting to have too much going on. And periodically, it won't load my little Magic Kingdom, which is actually more like a Hogwarts thing. Reality. Oh, and the seasoned players come on. Hey, it isn't fun unless there is some actual competition, right? If there's no challenge, it will get boring. That's why we incarnate. Being human is way more challenging than just being our energetic selves, where anything happens fast. But my area is bazooka. Oh, cool. That's a tough one. Now, is this the kind of thing where you start from scratch, or you over time you collect your clothes, your weapons, etc.? It's like if you bought a bazooka or found a bazooka on a dead enemy, you get to claim that as yours, and it's with you for the rest of all your games. You have to continually either win it or buy it. I think we're gonna go get some other fiery looking stuff here. Oh, maybe a little bit of this. What do we have here? An outrageous color, maybe? Although that is a way more expensive wool. Oh, that's purpley. That's the pastry pink. Yeah, I'll throw some of that in. No. A little bit of this in. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. They stopped playing this song now, so. Ah, cool. You're adding to the pleasure overall for them as well. Oh, we've got more of this weird color. Hold on. Two, yeah. That's the weird stuff I was just gifted. No, doesn't go. Well, you are. And that's a good approach. Now this is also a cheap red, but it feels softer than this stuff. Don't know why. Also from China. What time is it? 3:30. So more people are getting involved with it? Is that what you're saying? I have a club I started really with the hopes of creating a refuge for SimCity players who were sick of EA's greed and messing with the program. But I ended up attracting other people and I ended up with a club. But it's only, there's a bunch of other people I think were actually from Facebook. But like I said, I didn't play the game for like a decade. So I don't remember anybody. And I don't know their club names. And I'm not getting on Facebook just to see if I can find people who play my game. It's just not that important to me at this point. Still, I play it every morning. Well, that's nice. Yeah, one of the people in my club had the same thing. She was really into The Simpsons, or building the town of The Simpsons, I guess. And she played it for a long time, and then they just went down, closed it up, no more game, and the whole thing lost. Boy, she was pissed. I can relate. Like, I love my Sim City. I love the game, basically, and I love my cities. But I hate the owners of EA. They're greedy bloodsuckers. You know, Jared Kushner. Think I want to make that piece of shit billionaire richer? No. And then they overcomplicated the game in their haste to just bring it all out at once. And everything is attached to money. It's like, you know what? You ruined a game. It's been around since the mid 80s, early 80s. And he screwed it up. Greed kills everything. No, it's the old model, Maui. That's the problem. It's old and very well established. That's where the rich invented the trickle-down economic theory that Reagan called on, that destroyed the middle class. Give the rich people a break. Give them all the breaks and they'll make jobs. That money, as they get richer, will trickle down to the poor. And it never did. They just got richer. Even when they were bailed out, instead of helping their employees, they bought back their own stock to get even richer. They did nothing for the employees. So, people want to keep that mythology alive because they're making good money on it. But people like us are always the losers. That's how they want it. Oh, this little bit's a mess. The end of the rope, I guess. The new model of America is what we're seeing in New York City, where someone is really actively trying to make life better for the average citizen in the city. And people are starting to recognize, hey, this is pretty awesome. What do you call it? So the tide is shifting. That's why Trump is so terrified of us. He's going to go on tonight, supposedly, and carry on about how China screwed up the 2020 election. He should have won. He deserves a third term. He's trying to stay out of jail. I mean, he's not even going to live out this term, okay? That's how sick and crazy he is. But that won't stop him from trying to steal it. And Fox, they make everybody afraid of their own shadow because they have no power other than fear. The tide is shifting. Americans are finally seeing the light of what greed does as they watch their lands being taken out right from under them. Regulations that protected them being removed. Gary, welcome back. Well, we already have one, which is pretty bad. Well, he'll do anything to keep the Epstein files closed, but that's starting to fail because more legislators are fighting back on that, saying, we want the truth out. We want to know why you didn't do it. And who are you protecting? If you're so innocent, why are you holding it back? And lawmakers are demanding answers. So what he needs is a major brain enema. But we'll see how off the rails he goes tonight. I won't see personally because I don't want to look at that face or hear that voice. Watching him lie to the public, leave that for the morons. I'll get the gist of it tomorrow with stations like Legal AF. Here on YouTube. Game over. He just got here. Aloha to you too. But it's pronounced aloha. Ha, ha. Oh. Oh, I gotta thank you again for that bison video you sent me. That was a good laugh. I laughed aloud. What idiot plays hide and seek with a goddamn bull bison? The bull yet. Not just any bison, the bull. I love the comments section because when they said stupid is as stupid does, they were saying, don't insult Forrest Gump, he was smarter and nicer. Yeah, we need those. That was funny though. Gary, have you seen the bison video? Or that idiot in Yellowstone? Gets tossed into the air by a bison bull he pisses off. If you haven't seen it, I'll find it for you in my chat and send it. It reminded me of all of those videos of when they were showing people and how dumb they were. The hold my beer crowd. You think that's something? Hold my beer. Then they commenced to. Yeah, totally. Totally. It was kind of gratifying. Looked like a comic strip at first. But it's like, oh my God, that's real. That's even worse. Yeah, that was well done. Air bisons. Get yours today. Well, I gotta say, AI is good for a few laughs. You know, like that doctored picture of Mitch McConnell. McConnell. He's, I'm betting he's in a coma right now. That picture is years old and doctored. They took years off him and also some poundage. Yeah. It was a news report, so I'm going to assume not AI. That doesn't mean that nothing has been done with it since then, because, you know, I mean, that's a laugh riot. Yeah. I suggest the governor go and see for himself the state of this loyal state employee. He's an elected official. Where the hell is he? Doc, you're right. You're right. It probably will. That is a perfect kind of a setup for a Saturday Night Live, don't you think? That will be great. If you do catch it, let me know, since, no TV. A little bit more on the Finley. I love the deckled edges. All right. Well, let's go ahead and soak this puppy. I think everybody is right now, aren't they? Oh no, I saw darn it, Seth Meyers. Late night. He's wheezing. Oh, cool. Well, people want to move on from the gig. They need new, fresh talent. He did. He did look like that. Yeah, he did not have he was definitely not a clean shaven guy. He looked like a caricature of a hillbilly from down south. I mean, like if you wanted to make fun of them and exaggerate, that's what he looked like. Gotta get all the air out. Make sure everything is hydrating. I never thought about his smell, honestly, but I loved how he just went off like a logo for a sneaker. That was very funny, that a commercial. He looks like one of those men afraid to touch his own butt. More bookmarkers. Library down the stairs. one other thing I have to do before tomorrow morning is I have to make a new flyer. Oh, that's funny. That could be a good one. Or for joining the running of the bulls practice out there in Yellowstone. Or what else could he be? Yeah, I like that. Gymnastics for seniors. Seniors with dementia. At least these are easy. I don't have to worry about it heavily felting because they're going to be ironed and cut into strips. So I like doing these. Oops. All right. There we go. Now, our senior advisor, I bring these to her so she can cut them up. And she's got 2 little girls and they like to read. So I said, well, pick something out for the kids. I'm gonna make these all the time. So you think your daughter would like that? Do it. Well, I did a series of all these underwater colors, and I made her a lantern with all the underwater stuff, which I showed you guys. I mean, you were here when I made it. Well, kids know what they're into. They know themselves better than adults give them credit for. She brought home the watery looking ones, the greens and blues and purples and all that. And her older daughter said, well, you know, I'm more of a fire person. It's like, see? She already recognized she liked the fiery colors, not the watery ones, where her younger sister preferred the watery ones. So I told her, you're going to have your hands full with that one. It's a happy kid. Singers go natural, back to nature. Yeah, that could be funny too. And when you want that extra kick. That sounds kind of boring. That's just not. That's like that right there. Come on. Lay down, stay down. Who did that? Deep Purple? I think so. Deep Purple on their Smoke on the Water album. Gary's too young for that one. He was just a babe in the woods when that came out. Yeah. What year were you born? Ice creams. Ice cream on sale. I'm forbidden from having ice cream anymore. We're having an ice cream social here. The last Thursday, I think, of the month. You, Gary. You know who Deep Purple is or was? Let's see. Trying to remember my albums. Yes, a band. Deep Purple was the band. They were around with The Who and Montrose and Dio, Black Sabbath, Alice Cooper, Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy had a way long career. Now I love drums. I love drumming. I wanted to be a drummer when I was a kid. That's beside the point. Deep Purple did a song called Chasing Shadows, which is like mostly drums and keyboard and some singing. I liked that thing so much. That's what made me buy the album, even when I didn't have a record player to play it. Carried around for years until I did. I used to dance to that all the time, like exercise, but it was just a primal rhythm that I dug. Okay, we got to get rid of some of this water. Not too much. And before them was Ina Gana de Vida, Iron Butterfly. All right, let's squeeze some of this water out. Where were you when I needed you? Yeah, I'm going to the dry part of the towel. I'm soaking wet here. Red says dye just keeps coming out. All right. Now we're going to sincerely squeeze some of this stuff out. even though it's way too small. This out of the way. Too much water. Good dream. Well, this makes it shrink faster too. I washed the other one and I put it somewhere to dry. Let me find it. Because it's larger. Look at how much I've already shrunk. I tried to get some of the red dye out with not really any success. Look at that, how much it's already shrunk. It was hanging off the edge and now it's shorter. But now we gotta do it this way again. So. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've been on for 2 hours and 22 minutes. Compton. That's great. And if you look close up, you can see the newspaper is garbled as AI always does to print. I don't know why they keep thinking Americans are that stupid. Stuff that's available to all of us, we see it all the time, and they think they're going to pull it over on us. They really are old. Older than me. I find that refreshing and funny. Karma's coming. Karma's coming. I can't hit the notes like Laura Nero did, but oh, you better hide your heart, your loving heart. I don't want a copyright strike, so I'm going to shut up. But if you ever want to hear the original, Eli's Comin' by the woman who wrote it, look up Laura Nero, N-Y-R-O. Laura Nero wrote a lot of hits for people like the Fifth Dimension. She died way too young from ovarian cancer, which we did not have many tests for that back in the day. All right, this is done. It just needs to be washed and set. Kind of like a hairstyle. Washed and set with vinegar so it won't bleed anymore. And although that does not look like much, it'll be strips. And that'll look nice. Okay, it's 4:04. I've been on for over 2 hours. So I think it's time for me to go. Have a reasonable dinner at a reasonable time. I've already concocted my idea for dinner. I have this gorgeous golden bell pepper, nice and crispy. I'm going to cut that up. I'm going to saute it with some garlic and shrimp and lemon and some pasta. I do love my food. So thank you for hanging out with me. Tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow I'll be here after lunch because tomorrow's Friday. It's old lady circle tomorrow. I get my cup of coffee. Yeah. I need some food. Yeah. Also now I'm in the mood to make another one of these. That's so cute. It came out so good for such a lightweight little thing. But I love the silk in it. See you later. You know how to find me. Going to IHOP. Oh, that's really funny because when I was first thinking about dinner tonight, I was going to make a waffle. Just so you know, get yourself some potato flakes for your cupboard. Potato flakes make great potato pancakes. Throw in an egg, throw in a little water, not milk, water. Throw in your seasonings, like you do an omelet. Make your little patties. and inexpensive, but very healthy and filling. As long as you're not deep frying it or cooking it in butter. So enjoy IHOP. It is nice to have somebody else make breakfast now and then. I don't get up that early. Although I have my neighbor, we like to go for Mexican breakfast once a month, but this has been so hot, and also I'm trying to save my money because I just bought that pad. What is that? What's that blue beastie? I love potatoes. I love potato, almost any kind of potato. I just love potatoes. So I was thrilled to find out I could make potato waffles. Although I have been making them up till now with green onion, chopped fine, and shredded cheddar cheese. But when I finish the cheese in my refrigerator cheese department, I'm not supposed to do much of that anymore. My new doctor was pretty clear. You know, it was really scary though. I don't see new doctors that often. So he's sitting there and he's looking at my history and he says, "You have a lot of history." He was like, so yeah, because my history started when I was 12. I've accumulated some history in my medical files. So I said, "How about this? Ask me some questions and I'll answer and shortcut this whole thing." But what he did find what was most relevant to the cardiology department, vascular department, and we got more specific. And then we got specific about my diet, which is generally excellent. But I do have a couple of weaknesses. And I was honest because why go to a doctor to lie? They can't help you if you give them bullshit. That's like people coming to psychics and saying, "Oh, tell me this or that." It's like, you just lied to me. You just lied about how you look or where you are, or, you know, and what do they expect they're going to get if they sit there and lie to you? It's like, if you just want to test the psychic, go to somebody else. Unless you want to spend this much money per minute, I'm okay. I'll just sit here and throw things at you that may or may not be useful. Because, you know, stupid questions. So onward and upward to the food department over there. I'll see you tomorrow afternoon.